Hello guys, welcome to another video. This one is paper 1-2 of May-June 2019 for A-level math, paper 1. So now let's move on to question number 1. So here we have to find the coefficient of x in this expansion. Now, first thing first, we have to understand what is the coefficient of x. For example, let's say if I write ax, the value in front of x is called the coefficient of x. So we need to find that value in this expansion. Now, there's two ways of doing that. One way is you can expand everything out and find the right value. And the other way is you can just do this step by step and choose which one you can expand. For example, usually how would you expand this? You will take 5 because you have 5 power here, so 5. Choose a number that we don't know yet, and here we have 2 over x, and here we have minus 3x. If this is n, this also has to be n, and this has to be 5 minus n. So this is the general formula for this expansion of this binomial expansion. Now, the value of n can be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Because the power is 5, we have to begin with 0 until 5. Now, we have to choose n in such a way that when you expand this, you will have something in terms of x, or only in terms of x. So let's choose. We can try one by one if you want to, but you can also think in your mind before doing that. Let's say, for example, I will choose the value of, we have realized that if I choose the value of n equal to 3, I should have the right answer. So this is by observation. You can do that, or you can try one by one, plug it in and see what happens. It is up to you. But I can see that if I choose n here as 3, because it will be 3 here, there will be 3 here, and here it will be 5 minus 2 will be 2. So you will cancel out. I will have only x left. So that's how you do this, by trial and error. You have to think and try to see which one fits so that you get the value in terms of x. So let's do that. That will be 5. Choose 3. That will be 2 over x. 5 minus 3 will be 2 minus 3x, and this will be 3. So now we can expand this very easily. That will give you what? So 5 choose 3. That should be 10, but let's check. It is 10, so 10. That will be 4 over x squared. That will be minus 27x cubed. Now, as you can see, this will cancel out. You will have 1 here remaining. And you will have 10 times 4 times minus 27. That should be minus 1080x. But your answer will not be everything. We only need to find the coefficient, which is the value in front of x. So your answer will be minus 1080. This is your question number 1. Okay, now let's move on to question number 2. So we have 2 points A and B. They have the coordinates of 1, 3 and 9 minus 1 respectively. This is given information. The perpendicular bisector of AB intersect the y-axis at the point C. Find the coordinates of the point C. So step by step, we are trying to find the point C, but first we have to know or understand where can we find the point C. So let's begin from the top. We have 2 points, let's say A and B. This is A, for example, and this is B. So they are joined, let's say we join them by a line AB. Okay? Now, the perpendicular bisector of that line, so we have to understand what does this mean. So the perpendicular bisector is a line that passes through the midpoint of AB, that's the first thing, and it passes at an angle of 90 degrees, and that's why it's called the perpendicular bisector. So that's the line that passes to the midpoint of AB. This is the perpendicular bisector, and M is the midpoint. So let's first find this value of M. M is the midpoint. That will be 1 plus 9 divided by 2, 3 plus minus 1 divided by 2. That will give you 5, and that will give you 1. So M will be the point 5, 1. So this is used as a passing point. Okay. Now, you say the same line P will intersect the y-axis at C. So basically, when we draw a graph, usually you have a y-axis. For example, this is the y-axis, right? This is my x-axis, for example. Now we're trying to find the point of intersection of the line P and the y-axis. So this is my point C. Now, as you know, to find the point of intersection between a line and another line, we have to solve that equation simultaneously. But first, we have to find the equation of the line P, right? So to find the equation of a straight line, you first have to find the gradient of that line. So how do you find gradient of P? We have to use the knowledge that because it is perpendicular to AB, we know that gradient of P multiply gradient of AB have to give you -1. So using this concept, we can find gradient of P. So let's first find this. Because it is easier to find AB, we have the points A and B. So gradient AB will be what? Will be y2 minus y1, so -1 minus 3 over x2 minus x1. That should be -4 over 8, and that should be -12. So from this, replace back in my equation, you will have gradient of P, which is this one, multiply -12, and that should be -1. So we can simplify, minus cancel out, you will have MP over 2 equal to 1. So we can just send this over here. So gradient of P has to be 2. So now we have the gradient, we can find the equation of that line pretty easily. So here we go. So the gradient is 2, and the passing point is M, which is here, that is 5, 1. So the equation, that will be x and y value. So y minus 1 over x minus 5 has to be 2 over 1. Now we can cross multiply to see what happens. Y minus 1, that will be 2x minus 10. So simplify, y will be 2x minus 10 plus 1. That will be 2x minus 9. So equation of P will be 2x minus 9. Now this is part 1 of the question. But here we have to find what? We have to find the point C. C is the point of intersection of P and the y-axis. Something we know. At the y-axis, what happens? At y-axis, we know that the value of x has to be 0. So replace that back in this equation. That will be y will be minus 9. So the point C will be 0 and minus 9. Okay, so now you can tell me, hey, why is your drawing showing it is a positive value? As I explained, this is only an example to understand how to find the answer. But here you can see the point has to be below. So don't concentrate on my drawing. This is just an example to show you how to find the point C. But the point C is this value. It will be below the x-axis at 0 minus 9. That is question number 2. Now let's move on to question number 3. A curve is such that dy by dx is given by this. Okay, so the first thing I can do is let me try to rewrite this as what? As x cubed minus 4x power minus 2. We'll see if we have to use this or not, but it's always good to write this in this way for these kind of questions. Now we have a point P, 2, 9 lies on the curve. Okay, that's a passing point on the curve. Now let's see what's next. Part 1. A point moves on the curve in such a way that the x coordinate is decreasing at a constant rate of 0.05. So we have rate, as you can see, rate is with respect to time. So the x coordinate is decreasing with respect to time. Decreasing will be minus, right? 0.05. This is given to you. Units per second. Now question, we have to find the rate of change of y when at the point P. So we have to find the rate. So rate is with respect to time. So of y, we have to find dy by dt. So now, first thing first, we have to make an equation of how to find this. We have to use the chain rule. On top here we have dy, you write dy. Here we have dt, you write dt, right? Now next step, we have to see by which are they connected. You can see that here we have dy. In the question we have dy by dx. Here we have dt and here we have dx. So they are connected by dx. So this one, dx by dt, we know the value. It is 0.05. Of course, it's minus that value, right? And then here we have to find dy by dx at the point P. The point P is 2, 9. So let's do that. So dy by dx at x equal to 2. That will be, replace here, you will have 8 minus 4 over 4. That should be 7. So this value will be 7. So finally, just replace back in the main equation. Dy by dt has to be 7 times minus 0.05. So you will have what? Minus 0.35 units per second. That is your question part 1. Now for part 2, we have to find the equation of the curve. So equation of curve is y. So how do you find y? We know that y can be found by using integration of dy by dx. That is something you have to know to find that. Now let's replace. So y will be integration of dy by dx. It is x cubed minus 4x power minus 2 by dx, right? Now solve. That will be x power 4 divided by 4 minus this plus 1. That will be minus 1 divided by this. Okay? And then of course you have to write plus c for the constant of integration. Now next step, let's see what do we have. We have to simplify. Y will be 1 over 4 x power 4 become plus 4 over x, because here we have minus minus become plus. We bring this down, become x and plus c. But of course you have to find the value of c. You have to use the passing point, which is 2, 9. Replace back in your equation. 9, this is of course the x and y value. So 9 will be here. This will be 2 power 4 plus 4 over 2 plus c. That will be 9. 1 over 4 times 16. Let's check just to confirm. 2 power 4 is 16. And then plus 2 plus c. That will be 9. That will be what? 4 plus 2 plus c. C will be 9 minus 6, and that will be 3. Okay, so finally we have all the values we need to write down the equation. So equation of curve is just y is equal to 1 over 4x power 4 plus 4 over x, and then plus the value of 3. That is question number 3. Okay, so let's move on to question number 4. We have an angle x such that sine of x is equal to a plus b, and then cos x is equal to a minus b, where a and b are constants. Okay? Now part 1, we have to show that a square and b square plus b square has a constant value for any value of x. So now we have to observe that here we have a plus b, here we have a minus b, but they are not square values. So how can you make them become square values? So let's think. We have to think, what can we use? So we can try. Let's try. We can try to first square this one. So what is sine square x? That will be a plus b square. What is cos square x? That will be a minus b square, right? Now we can simplify. That will be what? That will be a square plus 2ab plus b square. This will be a square minus 2ab plus b square, right? Now something we can do is we can try. As you can see, we have two equations. This is my equation number 1 and equation number 2. So let's try something here. Because we know the identity based on our formula, on the list of formulas, we know what? We know if you try to add this and this, what do you get? So let's try. Let's try to add number 1 plus number 2. This will be sine square x plus cos square x has to be a square plus 2ab plus b square plus a square minus 2ab plus b square. Simplify, this will go away, and this will give you what? Will give you 1. You know this, right? This is your formula given to you on your list as well. This is your identity formula. Sine square x plus cos square x is equal to 1. Now simplify, this will be 2a square plus 2b square. Now we can divide by 2 everywhere. You will have a square plus b square equal to half. As you can see, for any values of x, a square plus b square is equal to a constant value of half. This is shown as required. So as you can see, this question was not very obvious. You have to try things out one by one and use the indication here and see what can you do to find your answer, to show that it is indeed a constant for any values of x. Now for part 2, in case where tan x equal to 2, express a in terms of b. So by definition, what do we know? We know that tan x is equal to sin x over cos x, right? So we can just replace that here. So what is sin x? Sin x is given to you by a plus b, and cos x is given to you by a minus b. That will be equal to 2. Now we just have to cross multiply. It will be a plus b. That will be 2a minus 2b. Now let's group all the a to one side. You'll have 2 minus a will be a, and send b over here will be 3b. So this will be your answer, a in terms of b, so a will be equal to 3b. That is your question number 4. Okay, so let's move on to question number 5. The diagram shows a semicircle with a radius of AB, as you can see, diameter of AB. So if OB is R, AO is also R, if that makes sense, because this is the same as this. Now, the point C lies on the circumference of the circle. Good to know, he's right here. And the angle is theta radians, okay? Now, the perimeter of the sector BOC is twice means 2 times the perimeter of the sector AOC. So we have to use this information. We have to find the value of theta correct to 2 significant figures. Now, first thing first, what can we do? So let's first derive, or let's first find out where is sector BOC. BOC right here, and we have sector AOC, AOC. So what can we do right now is we can just, let's take out the shape. Let's call this number 1 and call this number 2. So I can try to make this simpler. So number 1, what is the shape of AOC? If you observe, it is something like this, right? It is this. For example, this is my straight line. This is OAC. That is radius, and this is angle theta. Now, how do you find the perimeter? It is defined by the distance around the object. So here we have R plus R, and then we have to find the length of AC. That will be 2R plus AC. AC is arc length, so you must know that the formula for arc length is equal to R theta. That will be R times the angle theta. Okay, that is number 1 for your perimeter. Now for number 2, what is the shape? If you observe, the shape is more like this. It is this, and this, right? Something like this. Okay, that's what we can do first. This is B, and this is C. This is R, R. Now, what is this value right here? I think we can derive this. Why? Because we know that this is a straight line, this is the diameter, and this is a semicircle, so that this value right here will be what? It has to be 180. 180 is equal to pi, so this has to be pi minus theta. And that's the value we need to use, pi minus theta. Okay, so now again, how do you find the perimeter of this shape? It is the distance around the object. That will be r plus r will be 2r, and then the arc length will be r times the angle. Angle is pi minus theta. Now we have to simplify. That will be what? 2r plus r theta minus r theta. So r pi minus r theta. Here we have this, here we have that. So let's see what can we do now. We have to use the given information. The number 2 is twice that of number 1. So this is given to us that number 2 is equal to 2 times number 1. So replace number 2 is this, which is 2r plus r pi minus theta is equal to 2 times number 1 is 2r plus r theta. Now one thing we can do is that since we can factorize r here, let's take r outside. You have 2 plus pi minus theta. Here we can take out r as well, so 2, that will be r, 2 plus theta. We can first divide by r on both sides. This will cancel out the r's. Now we can simplify. That will be 2 plus pi minus theta is 4 plus 2 theta, sorry. Send theta to one side, you will have 3 theta. Send this to here, you will have pi plus 2 minus 4. Theta will be what? So 2 minus 4 is minus 2, so pi minus 2 divided by 3. So we have to find the value of theta correct to 2SF. So let's find that. Pi minus 2 divided by 3, that will be 0.3805. So 2SF will be 0.38 radians. This will be your answer for question number 5. Now let's move on to question number 6. The equation of the curve y equal to 3 cos 2x and the equation of the line 2y plus 3x over pi equal to 5. Okay, we have two equations. One is of a curve and one is of a line. Now part 1, state the smallest and the largest values of y for both the curve and the line between those two. So one by one, let's first look at the curve. Okay, so curve here, as you can see, curve is y equal to 3 cos 2x. Now from this we have to understand that because 3 is a constant, it will not really change, it is only a multiple, but this one right here will change. Now we know that cos 2x will lie between the value of minus 1 and 1. So we only have a minimum value here and a maximum value. So we place the maximum value will be what? Will be 3 times 1, that will be 3. And the minimum value will be 3 times, this will be minus 3. So for the curve, the max value is 3 and the mean value is minus 3. Now moving on to the line. So line we have curve. So here we have the line 2y plus 3x pi equal to 5. Now of course we have to first have a look. Let's make y become the subject of formula if you want to. You will have what? You have 2y first equal to 5 minus 3x over pi. And then finally you will have what? Y equal to minus 3x over 2 pi plus 5 over 2. So now, as you know, a straight line what? Let me rewrite this again because it could be confusing. So that will be y equal to minus 3 over 2 pi, this is x, and plus 2.5. Okay, so now you can see this is what? This is the gradient of the line, right? This is just to understand what's happening, just to help you. And this is the y-intercept. Now, as you can see, the line has a negative gradient. So what does that mean? It means that the line will be going down. So as the value of x, so as we move along the x-axis, the value of x has to be decreasing. So what does that mean? It means that the initial value here from the beginning will be the largest value, and the value here will be the smallest value. So we have to understand that when x equal to 0, we will have the largest value, y will be 2.5, and when x has to be 2 pi, we'll have the smallest value, that will be what? Let's see. You will have y equal to minus 3 over 2 pi, that will be 2 pi plus 2.5. So you will cancel out. So y has to be minus 0.5. As you can see, this will be the maximum value, and this is the minimum value. Okay, so that is a way of finding those values. Okay, that is your question part 1 for 6. Now let's move on to part 2 of the question. So we have to sketch on the same diagram the curve y equal to 3 cos 2x, and then we have to also sketch the straight line 2y plus 3x over pi equal to 5. So one by one, let's first sketch this one. Now, we have seen that the values of x is between 0 to 2 pi. So let's try to first draw the axis. Of course, you have to use a ruler for this. Don't copy me. That will be the y. And this will be my x-axis. Just like that. And of course, you have to use a ruler as well. So that will be 0. And now how would I choose the intervals for my curve? I will have to look at this value right here, the value of 2. Now to choose this interval, I will take what? I will take 2. I will take 90 degrees divided by 2. That will be 45. So my interval will be 45 degrees, but here we are working with radians, so pretty easy. That will be pi by 4. You can check because we know something. We know that pi is equal to 180. 45 has to be pi by 4. So first interval, that will be pi by 4. This will be pi by 2. This will be 3 pi by 4. This will be pi. Next one, that will be 5 pi by 4. And you will have 3 pi by 2. And finally, you have 2 pi. As you can see, this x is from 0 to 2 pi. Now, we have seen that the value of this function has a maximum value of 3. So 3, let's say, somewhere over here. And a minimum value of minus 3, let's say, somewhere over here. So it's always best, obviously, to use your ruler. And you can have a accurate scaling. But there's no need for me because, as you can see, it is only a sketch. You can just draw this and give an idea of the points and the shape of the graph. So first thing first, now we have to find the corresponding values of y with the values of x as follows. So one by one, when x equal to 0, what is the value of y? That will be 3 cos of 0, that will be 3. That's the first value. Now we have 3 cos of 2 times pi by 4. That will be 0. So 0. Now we have pi by 2. That will be minus 3. Somewhere over here. Then we have 3 pi by 2. 3 pi by 2. So by 4, sorry. That will be 0 again. And then we have the value of pi. So pi, that will be 3. So pi will be 3. Now, if you keep doing the same thing as well, you will get the same thing. So you can just do this, this, and that. However, in the fitting exam, you're not too sure. Always use your calculator to check for the values of y. Now, we just have to join the points by a smooth curve. This will be right here, and this will be your maximum curve, should be like that, and finally this will be on this way, and we have to join this part as well. So always you have to label the graph. This is y equal to 3 cos 2x. Now for this one, we know it's pretty easy. It is a straight line. When the value of x was 0, the value of y was 2.5. It will be somewhere over here. We know that. Let's use green. So here. And when the value of x was this, the value was minus 0.5, will be somewhere over here. So right now we just have to join these two by a straight line. So try your best, of course, using your ruler to join these two by a straight line. Okay, so this is my straight line. It's not great, but you will be using a ruler, so you will be perfect. Now label this as 2y plus 3x over pi equal to 5. That is your line. And that is your question part 2. Now for part 3, we have to state the number of solutions, the equation, this equal to this, between those two. So now as you can see, the question is asking you to state. So state means that you can just tell, so it should be pretty easy. It is only 1 mark as well. So the idea is that we have to use this graph to find the solution of this. So we're trying to find the points of intersection. So here we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So state the number of points of intersection. As you can see, we have 4 points. That will be 4 will be the number of solutions between this equation. Now, if you want to check, how did we get this equation? So pretty easy. We had the equation of y equal to 3 cos 2x, and the line was 2y plus 3x over pi equal to 5. Now replace y in here, you will have 6 cos 2x equal to 5 minus 3x over pi, and this is exactly what we have right here. So this means that we were trying to find the curve equal to the line, which is the points of intersection confirmed by this work. You can know exactly that this is actually what we are trying to find. But most of the times, whenever you see state and it is only 1 mark, you should know that we have to use the previous answer, which is the graph, to find this solution. And that is your question number 6. Now question number 7, we have functions f and g are defined by those two. Now part 1, obtain expressions for f inverse of x and g inverse of x. So one by one. First we have to let y equal to f of x. That is 3x minus 2. So we have to make x become the subject. So 3x is equal to y plus 2. X will be y plus 2 over 3. So finally we have to write this in terms of x. So f inverse in terms of x, that will be x plus 2 over 3. Now for part this one, let y equal to g of x, that will be 2x plus 3 over x minus 1. Same steps, we have to cross multiply first. You will have x times y minus x has to be, so this is y not x, minus y is 2x plus 3. Send y over here, send x over here, you will have xy minus 2x is equal to 3 plus y, right? Now factorize x outside, you have y minus 2, that will be 3 plus y, and finally x will be 3 plus y over x minus 2. Now as you can see, we have to express the answer in terms of x. G inverse of x has to be 3 plus x over x minus 2. So next step, let's see what is the question. We have to state the value of x for which g of x is not defined. So very easy. If you observe the equation of g inverse of x, we have this over a fraction. So whenever you have a fraction, you have to think, when does a fraction not exist? So one very obvious way is that we know a fraction, for example a, we cannot divide by 0. So basically, whenever the base is 0, it does not exist. So for example here, when x minus 2, the base is equal to 0, this will not exist. So the value of x will be the value of 2. So you can write this at the value of g inverse of x does not exist. That is part 1 of the question. Now for part 2, we have to solve this equation, which is f g of x equal to 7 over 3. Solving means to find the value of x. So this basically means f of g of x, right? That will be what? F is given to you by 3. That will be f of x minus 2. Now, sorry, g of x, not f, g of x. G is inside. So 3 times g of x is given to you by 2x plus 3 over x minus 1 minus 2 has to give you the value of 7 over 3. Okay, so step by step, let's expand those values. You will have, let's just apply this for now. You will have 6x plus 9 over x minus 1 equal to, so minus 2, equal to 7 over 3. Now we can send this over here if you want to. Let's do that. You will have 6x plus 9 over x minus 1 equal to 7 over 3 plus 2. 2 is what? 2 is also 6 over 3. So 7 over 3 plus 6 over 3, that will be 13 over 3. So let's check. 7 plus 6 will be 13. That's right. So that will be this. Then we can just cross multiply. That will be what? That will become 18x plus 27. That should be 13x minus 13. Now send this over here. You will have 18x minus 13. That should be 5x minus 13 minus 27. So 5x will be what? That will be minus 40. X has to be minus 8. Let's check. Divide by 5 minus 8. So the value of x will be minus 8 for when we have this equation equal to 7 over 3. That is your question number 7. So let's move on to question number 8. So here we have the position vectors of A and B relative to point O are given to you by these two vectors. So position vectors, it means from the point O. So as given to you, right here you see OA is this, OB is this, where K is a constant to be found. No big deal. Now part 1, we have to find the value of K for which the angle AOB is 90. So AOB will be O here, A here, and B here. So we know these, OA, we know OB. So we know that if this is 90, we can use the dot product to find the value of K. For example, what does this mean? Right? It means that if this is 90, we have OA multiplied by OB have to give you 0. Okay? So let's do that. Scalar product. OA is 6 minus 2 minus 6. OB will be 3K minus 3 has to be 0. So simplify. That will be 18 minus 2K plus 18 equal to 0. So 2K will be 2 times 18. K has to be 18. So this is the value of 18. Because of this information, we get this. So for part 1, K equal to 18. Now find the values of K for which the length of OA and OB are equal. So let's first find the length, right? How would you find those two lengths? So let's see what is OA. OA is 6 minus 2 minus 6. So first thing first, OA, the magnitude has to be square root. That will be 6 square plus minus 2 square plus minus 6 square. Of course, it is basically the brackets will be around the minus sign. So you will have what? 6 square plus 2 square plus 6 square, that will be 76. That is OA. Now OB, Same concepts, we just have to do step by step. The first value is 3 square, and we have plus k square plus minus 3 square. Has to be root of 9 plus 9 is 18 plus k square right here. So now we are saying that the value of OA and OB are the same. So let's write this equation down. According to question, the length of OA and OB are the same. Now, as you can see, OA is given to you by a root of 76, and OB is 18 plus k square. Now, one thing we can do right now to simplify is we can square both sides, right? To cancel out the square root. You will have 76 equal to 18 plus k square. Now, k square has to be what? 76 minus 18, that will be 58. So k has to be plus minus root of 58. That is part 2 of question number 8. Okay, so now let's move on to part 3. The point C is such that we have this equation is true. So let me write down first what do we know. According to question, OA was given to you by 6 minus 2 minus 6. And OB was given to you by 3k and minus 3. But in this question, k is equal to 4. That will be 4. Okay, good. Now, in the case where k equal to 4, we have to find the unit vector in the direction of OC. So to find the unit vector in this direction, we first have to find OC, right? So we have to use this equation to find that. So step by step, let's write this down. We have AC is equal to 2 times CB. Now, by definition, what is AC? AC is equal to OC minus OA. I have explained this before as well in one of the videos. If you just go to my channel and type in vector, there should be one of the videos explaining why this is the case. So if you don't understand this, just go to my playlist or channel, type in vector, something will show up to explain this thing. Now, same thing, CB is what? It is OB minus OC. So just to remember this is pretty simple. Just take the second value first. Here we have C, so we write OC. Minus the first value, A, OA. So here we have B, write OB, and then minus the first value will be OC. So that's how I remember this. But either way, this is explained in one of the videos. So now let's replace the value back. Here you will have what? OC minus OA is 2 times OB minus OC. So OC minus OA will be what? Expand, you will have 2 OB minus 2 OC. Now send all the OC to one side. So 1 OC plus 2, that will be 3 OCs. And that will be 2 OB plus OA. So simplify, that will be 2 times OB. OB is 3, 4 minus 3. And plus OA, 6 minus 2 minus 6. So simplify, that will be what? So 3 OC has to be, so 6, 8 minus 6 plus the value of 6 minus 2 minus 6. That will give you what? 12. 6 minus 12. Now, of course, we have to find the value of OC. So OC have to divide by 3. You will have 4, 2 minus 4. So that's the first part of the question, to find OC. So now we have to find the unit vector in the direction of OC. So pretty easy by definition. To find the unit vector, we take the vector itself and divide by its magnitude. So pretty easy, right? So what is the magnitude of OC? By your formula, square root, that will be 4 square plus 2 square plus minus 4 square. That will give you what? 4 square plus 4 square plus 2 square. That will be 36. That will be 6 as your value. So let's replace the values back in my equation. That will be 4, 2 minus 4, and then divide everything by 6. So that will be 2 over 3, 1 over 3, minus 2 over 3 as the answer. Okay, so this is part 3 of the question, and that is your question number 8. Let's move on to question number 9. So the curve C1 has equation y equal to x squared minus 4x plus 7. So this is C1 given to you. Good. Now the curve C2 have this equation where the value of k is a constant. Good. So we don't know what is the value of k for now. Now the tangent to C1 at the point x equal to 3, okay, is also the tangent to C2 at the point P. First thing first, find the value of k and find the point P. So usually in this kind of question, I would advise to draw something so we can understand what's happening. So we don't need the exact shape of the curves, an idea will be just fine. An example. So let's say C1 looks something like this. That's C1. Then we have a tangent. We have a tangent to C1 at the point x equal to 3. So let's say the tangent is somewhere over here. This is the point x equal to 3, and that is the tangent. This is the value of x equal to 3. And this is my tangent. Let's call this t. Now, I am told that this same tangent is also a tangent to C2 at the point P. Now, C2, we don't know where it is, but we understand that it will touch the tangent. So let's just pretend it is somewhere like this. This is my curve C2. And the point they touch is only one point, obviously. It is the point P. That's the point we are trying to find. Now, we have to use this information to find the value of k and the value of p. So something you must have realized that t is actually very important here, the equation of t, because it is a line that meets both curves. So let's try to first find the equation of t. Now, to find the equation of a straight line, we must have to find the gradient of the tangent of the straight line. Now, as you know, gradient of the tangent is simply dy by dx, so we have to find dy by dx. We can use C1, which is easier to find because we have all the values we need to find this. So let's do that. From C1, dy by dx will be what? Will be 2x minus 4. Now we have to find that value at x equal to the value of 3, because that is where the tangent passes at the value of x to 3. That will be 6 minus 4, that will be 2. So conclude gradient of tangent is 2. That's the first part. Now what is the corresponding value of y when x equal to 3? Replace back in your main equation. That will be what? 3 squared minus 12 plus 7. That will be 4. So this point right here is what? It is 3 and 4. Okay, that's something we have. Now let's find the equation of tangent. So we have the passing point, which is 3, 4. This is your x and y value. And you have the gradient. We can find the equation of tangent. That will be y minus the corresponding value over x minus the corresponding value. So it is 3 equal to the gradient. Now we have to cross multiply. You will have what? You will have y minus 4 is 2x minus 6. So y equal to 2x minus 6 plus 4, and finally that will be y 2x minus 2. That is your equation of tangent. So now we know this equation. So now we are told that this line also touches the curve C2 at the point P. Now, okay, so C2, the equation was given to us by y squared equal to 4x plus k. Now, we have to understand what does it mean when a curve has a tangent or is touched by this line as a tangent. So we understand that this line touches the curve C2 at exactly one point. Now, we have seen that many times before in ADMath. So we know that if you touch it at one point only, what do we think about? We think about b squared minus 4ac has to be 0. So basically we have to first try to solve them simultaneously and form an equation in this way. So y is this, y squared will be square, that will be 4x squared minus 8x and plus 4. So why did I square this? Because we can see here we have y squared. It will be easier for us to replace this directly in this one. So you will have 4x squared minus 8x plus 4 equal to 4x plus k. Now send everything to one side. You will have what? You will have 4x squared. Here will be minus 8 minus 4 will be minus 12x plus 4 minus k has to be 0. Now you can clearly see this one is a quadratic equation. This will be a, b, and c. Okay. Now we just have to replace in our main equation, which is this one, right? You will have what? Let's see. B squared will be minus 12 squared minus 4 times a is 4, and c is 4 minus k has to be 0. That will be 144 minus 16, 4 minus k has to be 0. Now let's send this over here. You will have 16 k minus 4, so 4 minus k, sorry, and that will be 144. Now divide by 16 everywhere. Let's see what happens. So 144 divided by 16, that will be 9. So k has to become 4 minus 9, and that will be minus 5. So part 1 of the question is to find the value of k. So we can see from here k is equal to minus 5. Okay, that is the first part of the question. Now following up is pretty easy. We have to find the point P. Now point P is simply the point of intersection between the curve and the line. So basically we solve them simultaneously. So by solving that, we have reached this part. Now we can continue from that because we know the value of k now. That will be 4x squared minus 12x plus 4 minus, and k is minus 5. That will be 4x squared minus 12x. That will be plus 9 equal to 0. Now we can try to factorize to see what values do we get. So one by one. Okay, so that will be what? That will be 4x could be 2x times 2x, right? And this could be 3 times 3. Now to get minus 12, we have to have minus 6. So 2x times minus 3 is minus 6. And minus 6 to get minus 12. So x will be 3 over 2. And we have to find the corresponding value of y. We can just replace back in our equation of the tangent. So 2 times x minus 2, that will be 3 minus 1, that should be, so minus 2, that should be 1. So this will go away. So the point P will be 3 over 2, and then 1 as your answer. So K was 5, and P was simply this point. Now again, if you guys don't know how to factorize properly, you can just use your equation or formula. So we know x has to be minus b plus minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So this is the formula for finding the solution for a quadratic equation. But if you know how to do this, perfect, you will have this as your solution, and that is your question number 9. So let's move on to question number 10. In an arithmetic progression, so it is given to you which type of progression this is. The sum of the first 10 terms is equal to the sum of the next 5 terms. Find the first term is a. Part 1, show that the common difference d is equal to this. So we have to use the given information. So the sum of the first 10 term is equal to the sum of the next 5 term, which means the sum of this minus this. If that makes sense. Of the next 5 term is equal to this. So let's use the formulas we know. So we know that for this kind of progression, the sum of the first n term is given to you by what? By half n 2a plus n minus 1 times d. That's the equation that we use for sum of the first n term. Now when it was 10, it was given by half times 5, so half times 10 will be 5, right? 5 2a plus 9d. That will be 15 over 2, and we have 2a plus 14d. Then minus the same thing, which is 5, 2a plus 9d. Okay, so now we have to simplify. So first thing, we can send this over here, right? That will become, so this plus this, that will be same thing. That will be 2, that will be 10, 2a plus 9d. And this will be 15 over 2, 2a plus 14d. Okay, so step by step, we can try to cross multiply here. You'll have 20, 2a plus 9d, 15, 2a plus 14d. Divide by 5 everywhere, you will have 4 here, 2a plus 9d. That'll be 3 times 2a plus 14d. Expand the brackets to see what happens. That will be 8a plus 36d is 6a, this is d, sorry, plus 3 times 14 should be what? Let's check. 42, 42d. Send everything to one side, you will have 2a. 42 minus 36, that will be 6d. So finally, a has to be 6d. Sorry, we have to find d here, not a. My apologies. So this means 6d has to be 2a. So d has to be 2a divided by 6, which is 1 over 3a. Okay, this is part 1 of the question. Now for part 2, given that the 10th term is 36 more than the 4th term, find the value of a. Now here we are dealing with terms. We know that the nth term is given by the formula of a plus n minus 1 d. We know the value of first term is a, right? And the difference is 1 over 3a. It is found from the questions itself. Now, the 10th term, which is u of 10, is 36 more than so minus the 4th term has to give you 36. So that's the main equation we have to use to find the values of a. So one by one, u of 10, replace in here, you will have what? A plus 9d minus, so 4 will be a plus 3d, right? That should be 36. Simplify. A plus 9d minus a minus 3d. 36. You will have cancel, cancel. That will be 6d has to be 36. So d has to be 6. But now we know that d is 1 over 3a. So a has to be 18. That is your value for a for part 2 of question number 10. Now let's move on to question part B. The sum of infinity to of a geometric progression is 9 times the sum of the first 4 terms. So one by one, here we have the sum to infinity is 9 times the sum of the first 4 terms. Given that the first term is 12, so a is 12, find the value of the 5th term. So because we know it is a geometric progression, let's first write down all the formulas we have for that progression. So we know that the term n will be given by a r n minus 1. Sum to infinity is a over 1 minus r. Sum of the first n term will be a 1 minus this n over 1 minus r. This is usually given to you on your sheet of formula, so you don't have to memorize all this, but it's always best if you do know this already. You can save some time. Anyways, let's replace the values back in the main equation. So here we have sum to infinity will be a over 1 minus r is equal to 9 times sum of the first 4 term will be a 1 minus r power 4 over the value of 1 minus r. As you can see, we can first cancel those values, right? Here we have a will cancel out. So you have 1 here, 9 times 1 minus r power 4. Now simplify. You will have what? You will have 1 over 9 is equal to 1 minus r power 4. So r power 4 is 1 minus 1 over 9. That should be what? That should be 8 over 9. So r has to be 8 over 9, 1/4. So let's see, what do we have? It's not exact, so let's not change that for now. But this is not the main point of the question. The main point is we are trying to find the value of the fifth term. So we're trying to find u of 5. It is given to you by what? It is given to you by replacing here. A is 12, first term, r power 4 of the fifth term, right? Replacing your formula. So that'll be 12, and this is given by 8 over 9 according to this one. That will be 12 but 8 over 9, that should be 10, 2 over 3. So this will be your answer for question part B. As you can see, step by step you can solve this question, and the formulas you have to just write it down to help you to find the equations to solve for that value of r and the value of the fifth term. Now let's move on to question number 11. So the diagram shows part of the curve y equal to this. Now first thing I can do is I can rewrite this as what? To make my life easier, it could be 4x plus 1 power half plus 9, 4x plus 1 minus half. Okay, now we know that the minimum point is m. Okay, good to know. Next step, we have to find dy by dx and integration of y. So step by step, let's first find dy by dx. That will be differentiate this equation. So that will become, first thing first, multiply by the power, this, then minus 1, multiply by d by dx of the value inside, that will be 4. Then here we have plus, that will be 9 is 9, and then multiply by the power. Then we have 4x plus 1, we have to minus 1 to the power, that will be minus 3 over 2, and then multiply by d by dx of the value inside, that should be 4. Simplify, that will be 2. So you will have 2 over 4x plus 1 half, and here you have minus 18 over 4x plus 1 over 2. This is dy by dx. Okay, this is my dy by dx. Now we have to find integration of y, that is, so one by one using that equation, right, as y. That will give me what? Of course, it is with respect to x, dx. The first thing first, we have to increase the power by 1. That will be 3 over 2 divided by the power and divided by d by dx of the value inside, that will be 4. Then plus 9 is only a multiple. Increase the power by 1, that will be half, divided by half, and divided by 4. And of course, right, plus c if you want to. Next step, that will be simplify. So you will have 4x plus 1, 3 over 2, 6 plus 9 over 2, 4x plus 1, half plus c. That will be integration of y. And that is your answer for part 1. Now for part 2, we have to find the point M. Okay, so how can you find the point M? So the idea is that M is the minimum point, and we know that at minimum point dy by dx have to be 0. So we know this already. This was given to you by 2 over 4x plus 1 half minus 18 over 4x plus 1 3 over 2 is 0. Now we can first send this over here if you want to. You will have 2 here. 4x plus 1 half is equal to 18 over 4x plus 1 3 over 2. Now we can simplify. Divide by 2, you have 1. This will be 9. Now same thing here. We can divide by this whole thing. That will be 1. And this will be, if you have a 3 over 2 divided by a half, what happens? They will become the laws of indices, 3 over 2 minus half. That will become, so a, that will become 2 over 2, which is a. So finally on this side you have 1. This is 9. 9 over a is right now 4x plus 1. So we just have to cross multiply. You will have 4x plus 1 is 9. 4x is 8. X is the value of 2. Now we have to find the corresponding value of y in my equation here, y. So what happens to the value of y when x is 2? Replace. 4 times 2 plus 1 is root of 9 plus 9 over root of 9. That will be 6. So y will be 6. M will be 2, 6. Now for part 3 of the question, the shaded region is bounded by the curve, the y-axis, and the line through M parallel to the x-axis. So let's have a look at the drawing. So this is the area we are trying to find. Okay. Now, if you observe, what can we do? We can try to draw this line as well. It will make sense in just a minute. So the point M is given to, was shown to be 2, 6. So this is 2, and this is 6. So how can you find the area of that region? So first thing first, we have to find the whole area. So let me explain. The whole area is what? It is this area. Everything. Right? Find the whole area. And then we minus the area of rectangle. So minus this one. So we are obtained with this one. So first thing first, we can find this area. How would you find area of rectangle? Is the width times the length. That will be 2 times 6. That should be 12. Now how do you find the whole area? We have to do by integration, right? The limit is between 0 and 2. So this is integration of y will give you this value. So we know this already. That's good. We can just replace in our equation. So first thing first, find the whole area. That will be integration of y between 2 and 0. That will be y is 4x plus 1, 3 over 2 over 6 plus 9 over 2, 4x plus 1, 1 over 2 between 2 and 0. Okay, so replace first by 2, right? So that will be at 9, 3 over 2, 27. So 27 over 6 plus 9 over 2 times, that will be 3, minus, that will be 1 over 6 plus 9 over 2. So let's simplify. That will be 27 over 6 plus 27 over 2. That will be 18 here, minus 1 over 6 plus 9 over 2. That should be minus 4 2/3. So 18 minus answer, that should be 13 1 over 3. So that's the whole area. Now if you want to find just the shaded area, we have to minus the area of that rectangle, which is, as we have seen, it was 12. right? Inverse 12. So minus 12, that should be 1/3 units square. Okay, so this was the last question of this paper. I hope that was somewhat helpful. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you soon.